Most financial mistakes don't feel dramatic. They don't feel reckless, and they definitely don't feel fatal at the time. But here's the truth: the most expensive money mistakes are the quiet ones, the ones we make in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s that compound silently for decades. Today, I want to walk you through the biggest financial mistakes people make in each decade of life. And more importantly, what to do instead so you can course correct early, not panic later. I'm Emma Sutherland, clinical naturopath, author, mum, and your host. As a naturopath, I see firsthand how financial stress takes a real toll on your physical and emotional well-being. Think of your finances like your health. One missed workout doesn't matter. One takeaway meal doesn't matter. But patterns, these compound quietly, relentlessly, and powerfully. None of what I'm going to share is about shame. It's about awareness, because once you see these patterns, you can change them. So let's look at your 20s. In your 20s, you're financially powerful, not because you earn a lot, but because time is on your side. Common mistakes include: one, not investing early enough. If you start investing small but regular amounts in your 20s, this actually has the most impact on life later due to the effect of compounding. Time does the heavy lifting. Let me give you a simple real life example of how compounding works, because this is where it can really click. Meet Sophia. She's 20 years old and invests $5,000 a year at an average 8% return with dividends reinvested. She does this consistently until she's 40, then she stops. Now meet Bob. He also invests $5,000 a year, earns the same 8% return, but he starts at the age of 30. By age 40, Sophia has invested for 20 years. She's contributed $100,000, but her balance is around $230,000. Bob has invested for 10 years. He's contributed $50,000 and his balance is $72,000. Sophia didn't invest more each year. She didn't earn more. She just started earlier. That 10-year head start means that she ends up with more than 3 times the money that Bob does. This is why financial mistakes in your 20s, they don't feel dangerous, but they're incredibly expensive. Time is on your side and compounding does the heavy lifting. Number 2, not establishing credit in your 20s. You need to have a proven record of how you can responsibly handle credit. Building your credit score is critical, as that will help you get a mortgage. Get a low interest credit card with a $1,000 limit and pay it off every single month. The third thing is buying a brand new car. Your car will depreciate by 25% after just 1 year and 60% by 3 years. I would highly recommend buying a secondhand car with cash. The fourth mistake in your 20s is moving out of home too early. I moved out of home at 16 and it really made it hard for me to get ahead financially. Instead of saving, I was working 5 nights a week after school to pay the rent. If you can remain in the family home, then do so. If you can't, then understand that your mental health is worth more than the dollars that you have to sacrifice. But overall, every dollar that you don't invest in your 20s has to be replaced by many dollars later on. That's the power of compounding working against you. A new car feels harmless. Moving out feels like independence. But these decisions quietly delay investing, saving, and momentum. Now, in your 30s, this is often where life gets busy: careers, kids, weddings, mortgages. Let's go through some common mistakes in your 30s. The first I see all the time: overspending on a wedding. In 2025, the average wedding in Australia costs $35,515. Think about what else you could do with all that money. The second mistake is neglecting your emergency fund. This is what I call the sleep well at night fund. You need 3 months worth of expenses set aside, which will be at least $10,000 for most people, if not more. The third thing is the lifestyle creep. As you start to earn more, you start to spend more. You just slowly spend every pay rise instead of investing it. And the next mistake in your 30s is spending everything you earn and living week to week. According to a 2025 survey, 45% of Australians are living paycheck to paycheck, many of them spending their income before the next pay comes in and saving very little. Then when it comes to your 40s, these are often high earning years, and this creates the dangerous assumption of, oh, I'll catch up later. This is also the decade where people look successful but feel financially stretched. Common mistakes in your 40s, not saving for retirement. It maybe feels too far away, but in reality, once you hit your 40s, you have 20 to 25 years until you need that nest egg to be ready. By making changes now, your nest egg could be so much larger. This could simply be moving to a lower cost super fund or changing the investment strategy to be less conservative. Second mistake in your 40s, not having a will in place. While most people don't want to think about it, a will is critical. If you die and don't have this in place, you are leaving behind a brutal task for your loved ones. See a solicitor and get it done ASAP. Next mistake in your 40s is careless spending, like buying lunch every day. You may feel, oh, I deserve it. I work hard. Why can't I? When you spend that $15 on buying a lunch, it feels small in the moment, but that's $2,340 per year. Over 5 years, the opportunity cost of that $15 is $14,200. I'm not sure about you, but I would rather make extra at dinner, take the leftovers for lunch, have the $14K invested. The fourth mistake in your 40s is chasing shortcuts to catch up. I understand this one as I was late to the investing strategy too. I felt desperate to make up for lost time, but in reality, that was my fear talking. After making one rookie mistake and losing some money, I learned the hard way. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Be careful about trading the hottest stock, as you will most likely just get your fingers and your wallet burnt. Let's move to the 50s. Now, your 50s often come with urgency, and urgency can lead to poor decisions. Common mistakes in your 50s include taking money out of super early. You can access your super under strict conditions like severe financial hardship, compassionate medical grounds, permanent incapacity, or illness. But using super early might feel like a relief in the moment, but it can come at a huge long-term cost. The second mistake in your 50s, avoiding investing in the stock market because it just feels too risky. If you don't have any experience in the stock market, you may feel more comfortable with your money in the bank. Cash may feel safe, but inflation quietly erodes that cash. By keeping your money in the bank, you miss out on average 8% return on the stock market, which is better than most bank accounts will pay. The third mistake is carrying high interest debts such as credit cards or car loans. Get rid of them. The next mistake is ignoring catch-up contributions to your super. While it may feel like you are too late to really build the super, this decade absolutely makes all the difference. I hear this all the time. I'm in my 50s, it's too late to fix my super, but here's the reality. Take someone who's 50 with $300K in super. If they ignore catch-up contributions and just coast, they're leaving this decade to chance. But if instead they started salary sacrificing an extra $10K a year for the next 10 years using catch-up contributions and earning an average 8% return, that decision alone can add up to $165,000 to their retirement balance by the age of 60. Now, this decade doesn't quietly fade into retirement. It really sets the tone for it. For many people, your 50s are the difference between scraping by and retiring with confidence. Let's get to your 60s. By your 60s, the biggest mistake isn't running out of money. It's not knowing how to use what you've built. So number one common mistake in your 60s is not having a withdrawal strategy. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make in their 60s is assuming the hard work is done. They've saved, they've built their super, and then they stop thinking strategically. But here's the problem with that. Accumulating money and withdrawing money are two completely different skills, and most people never learn the second one. No withdrawal strategy usually means one of three things. Either people withdraw money randomly, ad hoc, they withdraw too much early and run the risk of running out. And this one is very common. They actually withdraw too little because they're scared of running out. They live smaller than they need to despite actually having enough. I highly recommend seeing a good financial planner to discuss a suitable withdrawal strategy. The next mistake people in their 60s make is not having a clear vision for retirement. I don't mean a vague idea like relax more, travel if we can. I mean, no real picture of what their days, weeks, and years are actually going to look like. You need to really think about this and have a clear vision. Perhaps the first 10 years you will be more active and need more money. You might be traveling more. So you need to plan that into your withdrawal strategy with your financial planner. The next and final mistake I see people make in their 60s is neglecting healthcare planning. And this one is expensive, not just financially, but physically and emotionally. This one breaks my heart because I see it all the time in clinic. Healthcare costs don't usually hit all at once. They creep in. A specialist here, medications there, physio scans, dental work, mobility support. None of these feel catastrophic on their own, but together they quietly derail a retirement plan. Many people assume Medicare will cover everything, but the truth is it won't. There are gaps, especially for dental, hearing, vision, allied health, home support, and long-term care. Neglecting healthcare planning usually means no budget for ongoing medical expenses, no plan for increased care as you age, delaying preventative care because of the cost, and the last one, this is particularly really important, skipping preventative healthcare to save money in the short run often costs more in the long run. Delayed treatment usually means more complex treatment later and less independence. Good healthcare planning isn't indulgent, it's protective. One of the biggest fears people have in retirement isn't running out of money, it's losing independence. Healthcare planning is really about asking, how do I want to live and what support might I need to stay there? When healthcare isn't planned for, people feel forced into decisions. They dip into savings unexpectedly. They rely heavily on families or they compromise on care. That creates stress, and stress impacts health even further. I see this all the time in clinic and it truly breaks my heart. A good healthcare plan gives you options. It allows you to prioritize early interventions, quality care, and dignity. It turns health from a financial shock into a planned part of life, which is what's realistic. If you're in your 60s, ask yourself, what health costs am I likely to face over the next 10 to 20 years? And then double it. I'm serious. Do I have private cover that still makes sense for me? And am I budgeting for prevention, not just emergencies? Remember, your health is not separate from your financial plan. Now, every decade has its own mistakes, but they all share one thing. They compound quietly. And because they don't hurt in the moment, we underestimate them. Now, this isn't about perfection. It's about being prepared and engaged with your finances. So let's go through 6 empowering action points for today. First, start where you are, not where you should be. As they say, the best time to start was years ago. The second best time is today. The second thing is automate investing and saving. Automation removes emotion. So work out how much you need to invest each month and set up a direct debit. The third is super important. Build that emergency buffer. Aim for 3 months of expenses, as this buys you peace of mind and the ability to make calm and better decisions if anything happens. The fourth one is avoid lifestyle inflation. As you earn more, don't spend more. The fifth tip today is invest consistently but not emotionally. Boring, consistent investing beats clever every single time. I aim for an ETF such as A200 instead of choosing one company like a bank or a supermarket. A200 gives you the top 200 biggest companies in Australia all at once in one basket. So if one company has a bad year, it doesn't sink your whole investment because you're spread across 200 companies. Now, my last piece of advice, number 6, and honestly, one of the most important is this: get a plan. I want to be really clear here. This isn't just about money. There was a fascinating study published recently looking at older adults and retirement. And what it found was this: people who had a clear retirement plan and were able to follow it had better mental health. They had a higher self-esteem, better emotional well-being, and stronger social engagement. This stuff really matters. So retirement planning isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about knowing where you're going, because when people don't have a plan, they often feel lost, disconnected, and unsure of themselves, even if they're financially okay. A plan really gives you structure. It gives you purpose It helps you to stay socially connected, active, and confident in your decisions. And according to this research, that combination, purpose, activity, and self belief, is strongly linked to better mental health in later life. Now, this is exactly why I keep saying retirement isn't something you stop into. It's something you transition into. And people who do that well financially and emotionally are the ones who've thought it through. Now, your plan doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to answer a few key questions. Let me give you some to get you started. How do I want to spend my time? What gives me a sense of purpose? How do I want my money to support that life? Now, the evidence is clear. Planning doesn't just protect your financial health, it protects your mental health. And that's why getting a plan is one of the most powerful things you can do at any age. Your financial future isn't shaped by one big decision. It's shaped by thousands of small ones, just like your health is. The similarities here are profound. But the good news is that small changes, especially started early enough, can change everything. Thank you so much for being with me today. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and check out the links in the show notes below for more information.